Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's been a very long time since I've filmed and even posted anything on my channel. So for today's video, it's going to be kind of a longer video because I'm going to be talking about how I found out I was pregnant and kind of what my pregnancy's been like. I know I got so many questions and so many people were so eager and excited to know about how I found out, how I told Tyler and all of that, and then kind of just like how my pregnancy has been. So I just figured I would combine both of those together. Again, I'm sorry it's been such a long time since I last filmed. But it's exciting because I'm actually filming my first pregnancy related video. Like, I'm actually pregnant and it's so insane to think about. But yeah, let's get on to the video. So first thing is how I found out I was pregnant, and it's so odd and it's so weird to think about and to kind of look back on. But I just remember the month of December of 2018. That was the year, or the month at least, that Tyler and I decided, you know what, let's not worry, let's not stress, let's not think about it, let's just live our life, let's relax and just do whatever we want to do. So I remember that month specifically, I deleted any of my apps regarding infertility, ovulation tracking, all of that. I deleted them all. I got rid of most of my ovulation tests, and I just didn't care anymore. I was just like, yeah, you're right. Like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with it. Like, I'm done with it. So after getting everything taken care of in the sense of deleting apps and kind of figuring out my new normal after being off of medications and kind of just deciding that we're not going to take that route kind of as of right now, that month particularly was just a really good month. It was one of my favorites. I felt like myself. I felt like I connected and bonded with my husband. It was just overall a really great month, and I'm just thinking back at it, like, I'm so grateful that he actually pushed me to do that. So leading on to December 31st, if there's even 31 days in December, I knew it was December 31st. It was New Year's Eve, and I remember I took an ovulation test because I had felt that maybe I was ovulating, and I told Tyler I was gonna take it, and that, like, I don't think that I was, but like, I'm gonna just take it just to take it. And surprisingly, my body was right and I was ovulating, and I was just like, huh, would you look at that? Like, I'm ovulating. And Tyler was like, oh, like, that's insane, that's crazy. We didn't have like the urge or the need, TMI again, this is kind of awkward, but we didn't have like the necessary need to just jump into it, to just like schedule everything around my ovulation. I was like, okay, like, if it happens kind of thing. So we obviously had done the deed that day and then the day after, and I was really good at not testing up until maybe 4 or 5 days past my ovulation. I saw that I had a few cheap Amazon pregnancy tests left, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take these every morning and kind of see if I am pregnant. And a part of me kind of sunk back into that over obsession of trying to get pregnant, and just like, is it positive, is it not positive? Like, I sunk back into that hole pretty quickly. So I only had a couple of these tests, so I was like, I might as well just use them anyways, like, if I'm not going to really be doing infertility treatments for a while, because also Tyler and I had talked about doing infertility treatments before they were to go back underway and stuff like that, and before like his boat is to go and do a bunch of stuff that they needed to do. Like we kind of were trying to figure out a plan like as to what's going to be best. And so again, I was using these pregnancy tests, and I remember they were all negative, blatantly clear as day negative. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I was kind of getting discouraged, and I was kind of just like, oh my gosh, like I know it's gonna be I know it's gonna be false, and I know it's like not gonna, I know, like just deep down inside I know it wasn't going to be positive. And I remember it was January 10th, and I was laying in bed and we were going to sleep, and Tyler was already passed out at this point. He was knocked out. And I just was feeling the most intense, most gnarly like period cramps. I was in the fetal position and I was crying. I was just like, oh my gosh, like this hurts, like I just could not move, because I felt like I was getting my period, and something just triggered in me that I cried. So I excused myself from the bed so I didn't wake up my husband. I walked downstairs to our couch and I sat there and I cried, and I prayed to God. I don't really talk about my religious viewpoints and stuff like that. I am a Christian though, and I do believe in God, and I do believe all things happen for a reason. But that moment, I felt so down that like I needed to like just pray to him. And I was like, you know what, like if it is to happen, it is to happen. If not, okay, there's other ways that we could have a kid. And at that moment, my body felt at peace. I felt so much weight lifted off of my shoulders, because I genuinely opened up my heart and my soul to God in this prayer, where I was like, if I need to adopt, if I need to have a surrogate, like regardless of the situation, I know I'm gonna have a kid. So if I can't naturally on my own have my own child, I'm okay with that. And I think at that moment when I finally just opened and spewed that out and was like, you know what, it is what it is, and I'm going to accept anything that you throw at me. Like I'm okay with anything. My body and myself just felt very at peace, and it was such a reassuring feeling that it kind of just felt like an out-of-body experience, is really the only way I can describe it. So I went back upstairs, I got into bed, I got my, because I don't have a heating pad, I have a heating blanket. I turned that on, I put it on my back and wrapped it around my stomach, and I went to sleep. And the next morning, I woke up dreading that I was going to start my period. So first thing I did was I went and grabbed a pad and a tampon, and I went to go use the restroom and noticed that there was no blood. And I was like, okay, that's odd. And at this point, I'm about 12, 13 days past my ovulation. So I was just like, okay, like that's really weird. And I just like kind of was just like hesitant about it. But then I like realized I only had one Amazon sheet pregnancy test left. Only one. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna test. I'm just gonna check. You know, I know it's gonna be negative, but why not? I tested, I left the bathroom, I came back within the 2-minute period, and there was the most faintest line, and I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, but it was the most faintest line that I've seen, and it was clear as day faint, and I was like, I felt so lightheaded that I was going to pass out, and I was just like, oh my God, like, okay, like this can't be real, like what the hell. So I remembered I had one first response pregnancy test that I never opened, that I was going to use, just in case if I did get a fake positive, that maybe that one will pick up more. So I went to go use it, and immediately after I dipped it in the pee and like the pee goes across the test, I saw that second line and my heart just dropped, and I like got on my knees and I like looked up to my ceiling like as if God was right there, and I'm just like, holy shit, like you are real, like you are by far real, like you answered my prayers. And I feel like at that moment when I prayed to God about not getting pregnant on my own, and if that was the case that I would be okay, God realized and saw that I was okay with it, and that I was letting my faith and my hopes and everything into his hands, like having him decide for me. And I think at that moment, it's so weird, but like God kind of was like, you know what, yeah, like I'll give this to you kind of thing. It was just, again, it was an out of body experience. Like it was so weird. But then the next day, like after me praying to God, I got my positive pregnancy test, and I was just like shocked. So that whole day I was just like racing around the house, like, oh my gosh, like I'm pregnant, like there's a baby inside me, like what the heck? Like it was just so insane. So I remember going to Target to get Tyler a gift, because Tyler was at work when I took my pregnancy test. And I remember I got a little onesie that said "nice to meet you" on it, and I had gotten a digital test to say yes or no on it. And I just remember I got like pink and blue paper, like tissue paper in a box. And I remember that whole day I was so eager and so nervous about Tyler coming home, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, like he's gonna be a dad, like I gotta tell him that he's like having a baby. Like I was so excited. So Tyler finally calls me, and he's complaining about work, about how shitty work was and how he had a bad day and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, like I'm sorry that you had a bad day, but like I have a gift for you because I know how shitty work has been. And again, if you don't know, my husband's in the military, so he does a bunch of stuff on a submarine, and it's very stressful and everything. So at that moment in time, he was going through a lot with work, like work-wise, like working so many hours. I think we calculated it to the point where he was working 110, 120 plus hour weeks, and all this other stuff. So I knew that day he was going to have a bad day. So a part of me felt like, I'm happy you had a bad day, because now I get to tell you something that makes your day better, like, you know? So I was pretty excited to kind of have him have a bad day, just because he came home to something that ultimately changed his life. So I remember getting my phone situated on the TV stand to record, and at this point Tyler called me and told me that he was on his way, again explained to me how shitty work was. So when he got off the phone, I had my phone propped up on the TV stand, and when I heard his keys jingle in the door, I pressed record. And the first thing that I saw immediately when he came through the door was a 20-pound bag of jasmine rice. And I was just like, okay, like what, like why do you have rice? And he's like, well, because I was having a bad day and everything like that, they were cleaning off the boat and getting rid of a bunch of stuff, so I took this bag of rice that they were getting rid of. And I was just like, okay, like sit down, I have something really, really important that I need to give you. So he sat down, and then again was complaining about work, and I just had to be rude and be like, you know what, you need to stop talking, because there's something that, like, there's really something important that I need to tell you. And I was like, I know how shitty work has been, I know how bad it's been, and I'm sorry, and I wish I could take away how shitty work has been for the past couple of weeks, but I hope this gift makes up for that. And I handed him the box, and when he opened the box, the first thing he saw, of course, was the tissue papers. And then he unrolled the tissue paper and saw the onesie. And he kind of looked at me like confused, like, why the hell did you give me a onesie? But then he saw the pregnancy test on the bottom. The first one that he grabbed, of course, was the one that had the faint line on it. And he like kind of like again like looked at me like what is this? But then he saw the digital one that said yes. And then he looked up looked up at me with tears in his eyes, and he just asked, like, is this real life? And we both cried, and I was just like, yeah, like, this is real life, like, it's insane. And like, we just had this amazing connection and sentimental moment. And he could not believe that we actually got pregnant on our own without medications, just like on top of that we were pregnant, that we were having a baby. So it was just a very awesome sentimental moment for the both of us. I remember at that point I had gotten it confirmed at my doctor's with blood work that I was pregnant and that I was exactly 5 weeks at that point, but we did end up finding out that we found out a little bit earlier. I found out when I was 3 weeks, I think it was. So but that whole entire day, like, we thought we were 5 weeks and everything, and Tyler kept calling the baby his little peppercorn and was just being super sweet and super cute. But I'm super grateful for that moment. And the reason why I don't have the video clip of me telling Tyler as well is just because when I was recording it, my phone was dying, so it hit the 20% mark where it asks you if you want to turn your phone onto like the power mode or leave it. So when it did that, it stopped recording. But now on to my pregnancy now, and kind of what I've experienced throughout my pregnancy, stuff like that, kind of just like, is it what I expected it to be? I don't know, just overall my experience of pregnancy. So overall, my experience with pregnancy, I mean, it's been a beautiful thing. I'm so incredibly grateful that I get to experience this beautiful baby that my husband and I created, get to feel her move and kick, and just, it's amazing. And I love being pregnant. It's just so undescribable, and it's so surreal. Symptoms that I have experienced with this pregnancy has been severe morning sickness. That was something that I didn't think I was necessarily going to get, just because my family, like my side of the family and Tyler's side of the family, whenever they were pregnant, they never really had bad morning sickness. So I was like, oh, like, I don't think I'm gonna get it. But when 6 weeks hit, in exactly 6 weeks, I got hit with severe morning sickness, to the point where I actually ended up having to go to the hospital 3 times a week to get IV fluids because I was so dehydrated, because I could not keep anything down. The only thing that I really could keep down was Sprite and pineapple. So other than that though, like, it was like still a minimum, and then I got tired of drinking and eating those, that I'd have to try new things and stuff to see what my body would want and all that. But extreme morning sickness was one. I had it from 6 weeks up until 17 weeks. Another symptom that I have had is fainting. I experienced fainting quite a bit in this pregnancy. I've never fainted before, and I thought it was the scariest thing ever, especially because I fainted in public areas, where I had to be flat on the ground after fainting, waiting for paramedics to come to take me to the hospital. But I've experienced fainting. I've experienced like, there's like other little things like here and there that I experienced that, like, I just can't remember. Heartburn. I have severe heartburn and like acid reflux. I try so hard to like not eat any greasy or spicy foods because I know that triggers it, but I have like 2 things of Tums on my nightstand just because of how bad it is. Let's see, symptoms I've experienced so far. Charlie horses. That's been a fun one. And just like severe back pain. I did go to the hospital, labor and delivery in particular, because this was around 23 weeks, 24 weeks. I was in such bad pain from my back that I literally could not move. I had to have somebody come pick me up and take me to the hospital because I could not get out of bed because of how bad my back hurt. Well, it turns out my body is very, very tiny. And with my body being so tiny, my torso is extremely small. And with my torso being extremely small, that means it's going to hurt a lot more for my body to grow, for the baby to grow, to give birth. So when I had went to labor and delivery about this back pain and like kind of what I can do and everything, they pretty much just told me like, you know, this is pregnancy. I know it's your first and everything like that. So expect this to be kind of your new norm, because again, like, you have a small torso, you're built very small, so just expect to be in pain just because of how my body is built. So I found that out. One thing we did find out with this pregnancy is we are having a baby girl. I'm so excited. I don't know what it is, but for the longest time, I thought I was having a boy, and I was so stoked and eager for a boy. But then, like, I just kept thinking about, like, Tyler and, like, what kind of dad Tyler is going to be. And I know for a fact he's most definitely, like a girl dad. Like, I feel like would be perfect for girls. And we found out we were having a girl. I remember the whole entire time I had asked Tyler, like, oh, like, what do you think we're having? Like, what do you want? Like, just trying to be sweet and sentimental and just be like, hey, like, what do you think your baby's gonna be? And this fool's response always was, I want my baby to be Spider-Man, because I was never Spider-Man. So I want my baby to be Spider-Man. And I'm just like, are you serious? Like, stop. Like, just tell me if you want a girl or a boy. But when we actually did the gender and she told us it was a girl, she left the room and Tyler just like looks at me and he's like, I'm so freaking stoked that it's a girl. And I was just like, I knew it. Like, I knew he really wanted a girl. So we do have her name picked out. Her name is Freya Grace. Freya is the Norse goddess of love, war, beauty, and fertility. Tyler actually ended up picking her name, which is very sentimental, because for me, him having that connection and that bond, and then the meaning behind her name, for him to kind of come up with that, it fits so perfectly with our situation of trying to get pregnant to having her, and then her dad gets to like pick out her name. I think it's so beautiful. So her name is Freya Grace. She is going to be coming at 37 weeks, which would make my due date now September 4th. My due date was originally September 25th, but at my anatomy scan at 24 weeks, they found an issue with her umbilical cord. So if you don't know, the umbilical cord is made up of 2 arteries and a vein. And my baby's vein is a little bit more dilated, which means that there is more blood flow and turbulent blood flow to the baby, which could be bad because it can cause rapid growth in the baby. Or it could be an issue of a blood clot forming in her umbilical cord because of the dilation. So I'm being weekly monitored up until my 37 weeks of induction to just make sure that there's no clots formed, no rapid growth, no turbulent blood flow, all of that. Every 4 weeks, we do go in for a growth scan to make sure that she is measuring accordingly to her gestation. And at 32 weeks, we will be seen twice a week until delivery. With this though condition, it is on the rare side just because it's common, but it's more rare than it is common. And there's not a lot of studies on it. It is called umbilical cord varix. Again, for many people who don't know, because I got asked quite a bit as to what her condition is, but it's just, yeah, a dilated vein, and just making sure it's closely monitored and stuff like that. But yeah, because of that though, we will be getting induced at 37 weeks, and I am so eager and excited, which means that makes it 9 weeks until we get to meet her. 9 weeks. I get to meet and hold my daughter in 9 weeks. That is insane to me. We're so excited, we're so eager, we're like starting to get the house ready and diaper bags and hospital bags ready to go, and we're over the moon. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and being patient. Again, I'm so sorry that this is such a long video. I know probably some of you clicked off of this video or some of you skimmed through it or whatever, but I just appreciate the ones that have sat here, encouraged Tyler and I, had been there through everything, and just the love, support, and prayers that you guys have given us through this journey with getting pregnant to being pregnant and now waiting for our baby girl's arrival. So until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.